Hello and welcome to the April edition of What's Up Stratford via Zoom. Joining me and starting our show is Daviorr Snipes from the Stratford Festival. Daviorr, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you are a professional actor by training, New York University, and I think you did some voiceover. So tell us about your acting career first.
Yeah, so I've been an actor for about almost 30 years now, and it's funny because I love my journey because I started out in community theater in Macon, Georgia. That's where my passion for the art started, and coming from Macon, Georgia, I thought, well, I want to see what I really have, and I went to New York, and I was a professional actor in New York, touring often, working in children's theater, working in regional theater. So I've had the full gamut of experiences, and yeah, I always say I do this work through the lens of an artist first and foremost, because that is how I view the world. And I think having that perspective helps me to really have a very specific focus on EDI when it comes to the theater space.
You've lived in major cities, New York. I think most recently, a year ago, when you moved here from Atlanta. How would you compare Stratford to these major communities, major cities? Sorry.
Well, the interesting thing is, from the purposes of EDI, every place is the same in regards to what their struggles and what their goals are. The little things that make the difference are just what are the specific needs of each community. Like you're in a place like Atlanta. Atlanta is a majority Black city, so you are working with outreach in a different way because you have your pockets of people that you know that you want to reach out to. You know where those bases are, but you have to do a different type of effort in regards to introducing folks into the theater and showing what your theater has to offer. But Stratford is a little different because at a place like the festival, which can be a little bit more isolated from the main cities, which is kind of the appeal of it, you have to do a little bit more legwork in regards to outreaching, because now it's not only am I trying to introduce people into the theater itself, but I'm also trying to introduce people into the city of Stratford. So if you're thinking, if you're coming from Kitchener Waterloo, if you're coming from Hamilton, you're coming from Toronto, I've also got to sell you on the city and pitch the inclusivity of the city as well, in addition to the arts that we have on stage. So it's the same things that we're dealing with, but just there's a little bit of minutia there that you have to figure out from place to place. That is the difference.
So your mandate at the festival is EDI, equity, diversity, inclusion. What does that really mean?
Well, it can mean different things based on who's in the role. For me, as an artist, my vision of the role is, how do I create a theater space at the festival where the audience and the programming on stage and the staff is more reflective of the greater community, where we have a place that is reflective of all the people that represent Ontario. Because what can sometimes happen, particularly in the arts, is that the arts can become an exclusive place just because of the arts doesn't reach every community in the same way. There's financial differentiations. There's a connection to the work that varies from community to community. So my goal is, and this comes from my history in like children's theater and also in public school education, which is, how do we get more people with access to the arts? How do we bring more people into the theater space so that when you're sitting in the audience at the Stratford Festival watching a show, there's all types of communities represented and different people represented from all economic backgrounds, from all educational backgrounds, because from my perspective as an artist, that is the ideal audience that I would like to perform for and that I would like to see in a theater.
So Davier, we have a repertoire theater, so we're switching up the background sometimes three, four times at the same theater. So that means you have tight spaces. So how are you making this more accessible for people that have accessibility issues as actors?
Yes, we are very fortunate here in that we have an accessibility coordinator who helps us specifically focus on that work. And what we try to do in that is have different offerings for people based on what their needs are. Like we have a sign language performances, we have audio described performances, we also have relaxed performances as well for people who have sensory sensitivities. So it's about making sure that we have different things already programmed into our season in schedule so that it can suit the needs of those audience members. And it's not only having those things on our stage, but then when those audience members are here, we have things such as automated doors, we have things such as ramps, we have parking access measures, so that all of those things are taken into account so that this person can have as full of an experience as any other audience goer can also have. And also, just the thing to add additionally is this is where the importance of the community comes in and outreach, because we, in addition to having these things in place, we have to make sure that these members of the community know that these things are here for them. So there's a big effort on our part to do consistent outreach to make people aware.
Well, Daviorr, thank you very much. And I can't warmly welcome you. You've been here a year, so thank you for becoming a strong member of our community and the Stratford Festival. Thank you, Daviorr.
The pleasure, Peter. Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to Izzy and the MS Society.